Okay. Welcome. You don't need to see any of that stuff. Welcome to my live stream. Thanks for coming. If you're here in the chat, just drop a little wave so I can say hi to you. And yeah, I'm just gonna drink some coffee. I'm wearing it too because I'm in Canada. It's cold in Canada today. It's minus 18 Celsius. That's very cold. Cool. So, as I mentioned as I tweeted or whatever, we are going to be working on a meme generator today. This is another topic that came from my good friend Birgit Polyhack at BPH on the interwebs. And she had this really cool idea. I sort of quick couple of these things out of here. I got stuff I don't need open. So we're going to do that. So before I get too far into it, I'm going to get started and talk about the things that I use. Hey folks, welcome aboard. Adam Wills Dev, Alex Quadradev. Cool. Am I saying that right? Quadradev, and of course Florida Coder Man. Welcome aboard. Cool. So today, as I mentioned, meme generator. We're gonna do. Talk about. What am I talking about here? Okay, I'm using Local by Flywheel. Or used to be by Flywheel. I don't know if it still is. It's Local. I'm using this for my local development environment. You can use whatever you would like to use. There's nothing wrong with that. I just use it because I find it nice and easy. So I'm going to get into the Twitch repo. So I have a repo. You can access it here. Excuse me. So that's where all the code is. I apologize. I have not been keeping it up to date lately. I updated it yesterday, so we're all up to date now. Yes, so you should see all the stuff for the poll block that we did over the past couple of streams. So yes, I need to create a new branch. Should have done this already. I'm gonna call this stream December 9-2021, and here we go. Cool. So so I have a couple of things that I want to do, a couple of sort of ideas. So the first thing, so let me get my terminal window open here. I'm going to just open that up a bit bigger so you can see it. Maybe one more. And I'm going to use my auto jump to my playground and then into plugins. This is a really cool little Oh My Zush add-on, which is what I'm going to call it from now on. I'm just going to call it that. And what it does is you can CD into things, and then it remembers it and stores it in a little database, and then it'll actually allow you to kind of jump around real quick. So you see what I typed? I said J for auto jump. That's a short thing. I want to go to my playground and the plugin, so I am in my playground app. Now I'm in the plugins directory, which is super handy. So I'm right basically here. So easy and fun. Cool. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to use the npx. I'm going to use the create block package that is available that we've talked about before. I'm just going to use the one that comes with it, the default one. So that's running. And while that runs, it's going to ask me a couple questions in a second. I'm just going to leave that up here. But while that runs, sorry, second. Okay, so I'm building a block that's called meme generator. So it's going to be meme generator. I'm going to call this Twitch. Oops. Twitch streams. Title for block is meme generator. Now you can pass, I think you can pass the majority of this stuff all to you can pass these as flags to this command. I just do it this way for the sake of showing it. Generate and display memes on your blog site. Sure. And I'm going to put it into design, and I'm going to just make this, this is going to be I'm the author. And yeah, sure, this is just the licensing stuff. Version number is fine. Okay, so while that builds out, so I like memes. Memes are fun. I'm going to be using an API part of this thing, my idea was that like I wanted to have it so you could use some commonly known, you know, you can quickly build a meme based on some commonly known things. So like, you know, this image flip is, you can create, excuse me, and I have no idea what kind of content we're going to see if I poke through the site a little bit. So, but this is sort of like a meme generator, and you can pick, you know, whatever you want, stuff like this, right? So we're going to build something using these images. We're going to try. Some of them will work, some of them won't. It'll be fine. It'll be good times. We'll enjoy it. Yeah, so let's see. Is this thing built yet? Let's have a look. It's still building. And I'm just going to go in here, make sure my plugins are all deactivated. That's strange. Is it already in there? There it is. So that's the thing that we're building today. Sorry, I'll wait for this thing to run. So this is a pretty cool thing. It installs all your dependencies and gets everything running and working for you, which is pretty fun. And compiled block. Let's see, code is poetry. And there we go. Okay, so I'm going to cd into my meme generator. So now we're in here, and I'm going to do npm start. That's going to get my build process running. There we go. So you see we have a pretty basic configuration in here. We've got a source directory. We've got our package stuff, our README meme generator, which is where we're doing the block registration. Here we're block.js, Java.json, which is handling all that stuff. So we're going to config all the good stuff, and we have this block built out. So I'm going to jump over to the admin. So you can see I've got my meme generator plug in here, all posts. Oops, let's just let's get this. Let's edit this, and we're just going to pretend like you didn't see that. And this is going to be my meme generator. I'm going to update it. Right. So if we drop our meme generator in, you can see we've got the sort of the basic scaffolding stuff that comes with the create block script. Pretty straightforward. So we don't need any of this. We're gonna get rid of that. So what I'm going to start with I'm going to get into the edit, which is way up here. I'm just going to move this. Oh, sorry. Let's go into the index. I really should do a pull request for this, but this bugs me because we don't need to do it. What we can do is that, and then this, and that just makes things a little bit easier there. That's just what is it called? Object property shorthand, I believe is what it's called, when the name of the property and the variable representing it are the same. So JavaScript uses it to name the property, but also that takes its value and assigns it as the property value. Cool. Okay, so our edit stick. Okay, so now that that's done, I'm going to close this down. I'm going to get the edit up in here. I might just close that for a minute so we can see this. So we got some things. Okay, I'm gonna. So what I want to do. So this is the starting markup. I've sort of pre-built some of this markup. So what I want to do is why. Oh, there I can get out of it. Hello. Oh, mess. Okay, so I'm going to put this inside of a section tag, and then I'm going to have, so basically what I'm going to have here is the markup's going to look a little something like this. I need that, and I need this, and it's breaking. Why is it breaking? Oh, these things. I use this, I use Bear. Is that what it's called? Bear. It's like a note app, and it's great, except it doesn't seem to really like quotes, or at least the quotes don't get converted when I bring it back, which is a total bummer. There we go. So the idea is we're going to have two blocks of text, the sort of classic meme thing, where we have, well, you know what? I'll just show you maybe. So if I refresh this now, so I've got this. So we've got some, this is just the markup, it's not right. So we're gonna have an image, and then we're gonna have basically a block of text sitting up here and a block of text sitting down here, and it's going to do this stuff. So I've got some sort of pre-baked styles in here that I'll just drop in. I'm gonna put it in the style.css, and I'm gonna just replace all this. Right? Yep, okay. Alright, so let's see. This is probably not going to work right, but alright, so clearly it didn't work. I need to add a I just need to check my notes. It's done by block props. Oh, right, okay, so inside of here, I actually added another div. This will all make sense when I get into it. We have a lot of things going on. So in here we have a div, and then I'm going to do like that. Class name is going to be meme wrapper. All right, so hello, Ali Amjad. Am I saying that right? Welcome to the stream. Thank you for coming. I'm doing well. Thank you for asking. Cool. So now I fix it up. So this is clearly, you know, font's not right, but that's what we're doing. This will be the end game. I'm just gonna, for now, I'm just gonna add a color to it. Do the color of white so you can see it in this particular case. So yeah, so that's it. That's the meme, right? And we've seen this before a billion trillion times on the internet. But what I want to do is I want to be able to create a means by which we can insert this block and then be able to pick the image, right? So because this is sort of how it will end up, and then I guess we can do the save as well. Maybe we'll work on the save bit as well. Pardon me. So this save bit. Well, actually, you know what? The save will be almost exactly the same. I'm going to grab the whole thing here. I'm going to just replace all that, right? And then I use plotbox.save. That's what I need to use. And then this will be basically outputting the same thing on the front end as it does here. Oh, sorry, cancel. Refresh this. Block recovery. I'm going to update that. The reason it told me that there was a problem is because I messed with the save. Now if I refresh this, we'll get it. So this is basically the end game here. But there's a bunch of stuff that we have to kind of get in place. The first thing I want to kind of work with is how do we get this image, right? Or actually, do I want to work with that? Maybe we won't. Maybe what I'll do is, yeah, I'll work with the images first. There's a bunch of different ways that we can do this. So back in our edit state, so back in our edit, we need to, you know what, I'm totally changing my mind here. I'm going to also do this, clean this up a little bit. I personally like to have a section called WordPress dependencies. If I can ever spell it right, pendencies, right? And then like internal, meaning stuff that's like, you know, part of this project, internal dependencies. I just find that easier. So I use the rich text field, right? And I'm going to convert this into rich text fields that we can actually type in. And I find that, like, if you're working like in an agency or something along those lines, it'll you'll have markup a lot of times. Like if you're front end developer, you'll probably be building this markup. If you're back end developer, just focus on the block part or like just the JavaScript side, this may be handed to you. But this is sort of, you know, the way I kind of built this was I built the markup first. I put the CSS together, got it working the way I wanted to, and then I kind of had to adjust it as I built it out. So what we're going to do here is we're going to convert this. We're going to convert this div into a rich text. So we want to just we want to tell it that the tag name is a div because that's what we're using. Class name, and we can just steal our class names right from here. right? We're going to say value. Oh, we can't do anything with this because we don't have the attributes yet. So let's add the attributes. Okay, so in our block.json, we want to add some ats here, some attributes. And this first one's going to be, call it top text, right? And it's going to be of the type. Type is going to be a string. Oops, a string, right? That's great. And then we're going to have, you probably guessed it, a bottom text. So I'm going to call it that. I'm just going to steal this bottom text. Great. So now we've got our attributes available to us. And yeah, okay. So now that those are available in our edit, we can now destructure the attributes out of the props object that's passed, and then we can go on further and say top text, bottom text, typey equals attributes, right? Cool. You can also do this inline here. We don't have to right at the moment. Great. So then the value of this is going to be whatever top text is set to, right? And so then we need an on change. These are all properties that you can find on the documentation or any of my streams. I think this component is like one of the ones I use like all the time. New top text. So this on change it's a function, and it receives whatever the value has, whatever you're typing in gets passed to it. And all we want to do is call this function called set attributes, which is also part of the props object that gets sent to this component. And then we can just do, we want to set top, it takes an object, so you can set one or more attributes. Top text is the name of the attribute that we're going to be updating, and we're going to give it the value of new top text. Pretty straightforward. So I don't know if you heard that or not, but I have some arborists in my backyard, and they're chopping down trees, and it sounded like there was an explosion because they're knocking big trees down in my backyard. So if you hear that, that's what it is. I'm not under attack. Yeah. So, sorry, just 1 second. My other computer keeps connecting to my headphones, and I need to turn it off. Okay, I think that is good. Apologies. Okay, cool. So now we should see, if I come back here, if I refresh this, we should see what is that? Okay, so, oh, you know what? I probably just need to add a placeholder. Sorry. Hey, Jay Barty, thanks for the follow. Hey, thank you. Appreciate it. Okay, so I'm gonna just do I'm just gonna add a placeholder here, just so we can see it. And I'm gonna translate it because I mark it for translation, I should say. That is a good habit to be in, so we'll just do that. And I'm just gonna use this as, use that. So hopefully, if I come back over here, I should see 2 of these now. Well, that's interesting and fun. Okay. Weird. Okay. Well, I think this might be. Yeah, we go. Okay. Oh, it's sitting in behind. That's the problem. Okay. Cool. So it's there. So I'm gonna just go ahead and get rid of this other one because I don't need this one anymore. Right. And now we should have one sitting there. I gotta get my. There we go. So if I get an inspect here. Might have 2 overlapping. Yes, I do. Hey, T. Drayson, thank you for dropping by and saying hi. Appreciate you. Adam, you are, as usual, correct. It was indeed sitting. It was indeed overlapping each other, and I didn't have a placeholder, so I couldn't see it, and it was just weird. Anyways, so that's all we need to do there. All right, so I can just literally copy this and paste it down below. That's how I like to do my development. Copy paste, mostly from Stack Overflow. Don't tell my boss. And then we gotta get our bottom text, and that's gonna be the value here. And then we're gonna just do this new bottom text. Replace that, and do this, and do this, and now we have two functioning things. And I will just get rid of. I'll update the placeholder. You know what? I made the placeholder. Do the top first funny. Oh no, what do we call this? Setup and punchline. Punchline. I don't know. I'm not a comedian. Cool. So we don't need this anymore. So now we should have two functioning things. Right? Let's go back over. Yep. And there. And reload. Okay. And so I'm going to say I don't always make type badly. But when I do, it's during a live stream. There we go. So that's going to be my thing. All right, so I've done this. So update. Cool. So now let's go over to the front, and we'll see that this isn't doing anything yet. So we need to update that. We need to get our edit state. I'm sorry, our save property, our save function, right here, to now use the text that we've been putting in there. So I'm going to do this thing again, where I just do this, and get rid of that. Go WordPress dependencies spelled wrong. There we go. And it's going to use rich text again. So basically all I have to do here is the same idea. But instead of rich text though, I want to use rich text.content, capital C. So the value is the attributes, which we need to pull out. So we'll do this. A lot of like with block building, I find there's a lot of like rinse and repeat type of things. It's like, you do a lot of the same processes. But I guess that's the same with any kind of development, especially when you're working inside of a framework or like an API or something. Like, when you build a theme for WordPress, like how many times do you register a post type or do all of that stuff? It becomes muscle memory, I guess. Attributes, and something's broken. Oh, that's what's broken. And something's still broken. Okay, so the top text, boom, right, and I will do bottom text. And I really love how this just does everything for me. And I think a tag name is what I need, and I'm gonna say div, and I think that's all I need. Is there something else? I have to check my notes real quick. I think there might be something else, but I can't remember. Oh, class name. Yeah, of course. I need to add the class name, so I'm just going to steal that right there. Okay, so we got that. We'll delete this one. Now we should get the first. We might actually have to update our block. I don't think it's going to work now. If I update this, we should get the little error thing, temp block recovery, which is good. So we'll update that. Again, what's the difference between using rich text.content and putting the attribute directly in a div? That's a really great question, because the attribute itself is the value. And I'm not entirely sure what the difference is. That's a really great question, Adams. I just called you Adams, Adam. I think it has to do with the helper that will actually save the wrapping element, because your dreams online. Ann Peters, welcome, Ann. Bot. Anyways, let's take a look into the database. Actually, that's an excellent question, Adam. I think it has to do with the way that it outputs things, wrapping things in a div and all of that. I'm just going to open up adminer. Why not? Posts. Yep. And we want to select data, and I want to do this, and I'll get the most recent one, which should be this one here. If I edit this, I don't think you can see that at all. Let's see if I can zoom in a bit. Oop. Okay. Yeah, so what it's doing, it looks like it's generating, I think you could probably output it. Huh, let's try it. I'm gonna try it. I don't know. I've just always done it this way. I'm sure there's bound to be some things. Wait a minute, does it add classes? No, it doesn't do anything. Okay. All right, let's do that for this one. Let's output this and see what happens there, and if we actually need to do it. So we'll do that. So this should be the bottom text. So let's look. We'll go back over here, refresh this, get the little temp block recovery, update, refresh. I don't see a functional reason just off the top. I wonder if it handles HTML inside rich text like bold. Oh, that's probably what it does. That's probably what it does. So that's an excellent point. So let's grab the bottom one. We'll make that section. Well, actually, I've got it all bold just because of the CSS. But if I do like, I don't know, whatever, strike through and all this stuff, we'll update this. I bet. That's what it's doing. It pre-processed. Yeah. Adam, you should be doing these live streams, man. Why are you not doing them? You know more about this than I do, and I don't mean that in any sarcastic way. Thank you. That's exactly what that does. So when you're just outputting the string unmessed with, unaugmented, I don't know what I'm saying. It seems to be no, strike through. I need to get rid of that. That's what that does. So that's why we use it. So we will copy this, but it does actually lead to, like, so there are times, lots of times actually, where I've used rich text, and I'm going to be doing it here, removing format options. So in that case, if you're just using it to actually like store text, then you don't need that. I would say that you don't need that. In fact, let's see. So in the rich text field, right, allowed formats, like we really only want to handle, like we just want it to be able to be a live type thing. We're going to handle the CSS because we want it to be bold and large and, you know, uppercase. The color is something different. We'll manage that separately. But if we reload, if we reload this. Oh, we'll do that. And I select this one, you can see that there's no controls now. So we could get away with not using the rich text.content. That's an excellent question, Adam. Thank you so much for bringing that up. I wish I had some means of rewarding you with Twitch things, but I'm not an affiliate yet. So just know you have my love and undying admiration. Awkward. Moving on. Okay. So in this case, so I'm just gonna keep using this. I'm gonna add the allowed formats option here, and then in here I'll get rid of that and change this to bottom text. Okay, cool. So now we are in. We've got this thing working. Okay, let's just refresh this, make sure it's working, reload, and we'll just do that. So that's going to happen every time we make a change to the save. You're not doing anything wrong. It's just Gutenberg doesn't know how to handle. Uh-oh. I know what I did. I don't know what I did. What did I do? Oh, I have to go back to the save. I think I just didn't put bottom in there. Yeah. On the hazards of copy and paste. Oh, I have to edit this. Static blocks, man. Okay, so that should be working there now. There we go. Cool. All right. So great. Now let's deal with the image. So this is going to be a bit deeper. Okay. So in the edit state, we want to be able to do. We need to have an image, right? And so so the data type that we're going to be messing with is basically from this endpoint. So this endpoint just returns to you a list of data, their most popular memes, I guess. So like, you know, so we have an idea, we have a name, we have a URL, which looks like this, right? And then we've got the height of the image, the width of the image, and then we've got this box count. The box count refers to basically the text boxes. So if we looked at, you know, when we looked at here, we went to create a meme, there's like, there's a, you know, text here and text here. So that's the count of boxes. Some of them have more, like this one's got 3, stuff like that, right? So that's where that, sorry, I'm lost now. I'm lost, there we go. So that's where that comes from. So I'm gonna hit this API. So I have some images that we can pick from. I could probably do a bit of work to, you know, filter them out to make sure that they're actually images that support the top and the bottom text box. Sometimes there's text boxes on the side. So some of these are not going to work, but that's for you to figure out. Right, so we'll close this down. Okay, cool. So, excuse me. So to do this, I want to add a component called a placeholder. And so, yes, so when I add this block, I want there to be something presented to the user that says, you got to start with an image. You don't have an image, pick one. So we'll do that, right? And so to do that, I'm going to do, oh wait, first we want to define, I know where I was going with this now. So what I want to store is, I want to store this entire object as the image, because why not? And so I'm not going to store the image in my WordPress instance. I'm just going to store it as a URL. We'll just display it as we need to. So I'm going to store this as an object. So in my block.json down here, I'm going to add an image attribute, right? And I'm going to call, you know what? I'm going to add, sorry, it's the image attribute. I guess technically you could refer to it as a meme, but I'm going to call it type. And it's going to be the type object, and that's what I need. And then over here, we need image, right? So we're going to get into some. So what I want to do is I want to say, if there's an image, I'm going to do something. And if there's not an image, I'm going to do something else. Okay. If there's not an image, I want to put in this placeholder, the placeholder component that I haven't pulled in yet. So the placeholder component, I got a link to it somewhere. Where did I put the link to the placeholder? Is here. So this is the placeholder component. It does exactly what it sounds like it does. It's a placeholder for things. So I'm going to import it from the components package. In my thing here, so I'm going to bring it up here. So in my WordPress dependencies, I'm going to say placeholder, right? So this is saying if there's no image, I want to see a placeholder. And if there is an image, I want to see this stuff. This is the stuff that we just worked on. Okay, so yeah, so it's basically it's a ternary logic. Right? Now you can do this another way. You can abstract the stuff out into separate components. You could also do something like this. You could say, and it might be maybe cleaner to do this because you can have multiple return statements inside a component, inside a React component, right? So if I do this, I should be able to just return the placeholder like this, right? Like that. And maybe that's cleaner, but actually this is where it gets complicated because of the unused block props. So I could do it like this, right? Because I want to use this section thing, which maybe isn't even semantically correct. Called conditionally. See, hooks aren't fun for that. I'm not going to do it that way. That's why this is up here, because with a hook, with React hooks, they always have to be called. They always have to be called in the same order, and they can't be conditionally called. There's some serious rules. So yeah, so you could have something like this going on if you wanted to. In fact, what we could do is we could say const block props, and this is probably the better way to do it, is to say use block props, right? And then what that'll allow us to do is always call the block props, always call the hook at the same time, and then we can conditionally then we can just use those properties anytime that we wanted to. So we can do it this way, or we can do it in this long ternary statement. The problem with this, and this is the way, like I built this block out kind of playing around with it, and I did it like this, and it does end up getting a bit verbose. So maybe we'll do it this way. So I'm gonna get rid of my ternary statement, which is here, right? So basically this is like, if we don't have an image, show this, show the interface. Okay, so we don't have an image. It's gonna show that. So I'll stop talking about it, and we can take a look. Because we don't have an image object, we should get a placeholder, which is blank because I haven't put any attributes in yet. So if we look at the, we've got, we can do icon, we can do label, we can do instructions, we can do is column layout. So I'm gonna just add each one of these things and see what it does. So we'll go icon, I'm gonna set it to, because our block icon, I think I set to smiley. I'll do that. We got label. I'm gonna say, all right, and the label is what? Please choose. I have this written down somewhere. Choose an image for your meme. Choose an image for your meme. And then we're going to put the text domain of Twitch streams. Right, okay. And so if we refresh this now, we should see. Let's do it. Okay. Cool. Okay. Now. Great. So now we have to be able to pick an image. So what I want to do, I'm going to use. I'm going to do a couple of things. I'm going to import. Oh, that's just complaining that I haven't imported it. I'm just going to turn that off. You don't need to do this. If you wanted to import the component, you can do that. Or sorry, like if you want to import the package, you can do it. It's better for like code completion and hinting. The actual build process doesn't bundle it, but anyways, that's something different. Okay, cool. So what I'm going to use, I'm going to take a use effect hook. Import use effect. I think that's from WordPress element. Okay, and I'm going to do that up here. So I'm going to hand call use effect. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this hook and I'm going to call it the first time the block renders. And I can do that by passing an empty dependency array here. So if you've never used use effect before, use effect is pretty cool. It's a React thing. It's a React hook, and what it does is it replaces a lot of the lifecycle methods that older React components use. So the React components used to extend in the sense of like a class, the component class, and it would give you all sorts of lifecycle functions that you could call things like component will mount, component did mount, component will receive props, component did unmount, things like that. So when React moved away from that sort of class-based approach and into sort of the functional kind of like anonymous functions that represents, functional components, I think is what they're called. We lost a lot of those. So this hook brings those back. And so the dependency array here, it means anything that's passed in this array, if it changes, it will render, or this use effect call will happen. If you leave it empty, it will only render it when the component mounts the first time. And that's what we want. What we want to do is when this mounts, we want to hit that external API, retrieve the data, and then use it as we need to use it, right? Yes. So the other thing that so let's start doing that. So in here, cool. So I'm going to use API fetch. I wonder how much of this I should bring in. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go const success data. I'm going to say that's. Oh wait, no, sorry. I want to basically call this. This is what I'm going to call. So we've got this. Oh, Jaron House, thanks for the follow. Appreciate it and welcome aboard. So this is what I want to call. I'm going to hit the API and return that stuff. But I want to use async await, which I love. You can use promises as well as you want to. But the problem here is that you can't make this function an async function. If you're not familiar with async await, what you have to do is you mark a function as asynchronous, and then you can use the await keyword inside to just wait till it finishes doing its thing and then returns. The problem is, in a use effect hook, you can't call this outer function, the function that does, you can't make it asynchronous. You have to do it a different way. So what we have to do is we have to create our own, a function called load images. Images. And it's going to be an async function. Async, right? Right, like this, like that. And then we can put all our goodies inside of there. And then what we do is we call this function like that. And that's how we get async working, async await working with the use effect hook. I'm gonna be trying to do more coding streams soon, so I'm looking for inspiration. Oh, cool. Hopefully you do that. You could also just remove the await. Yeah, I could. Yeah, I guess I am doing that with then, right? Because I could do it a different way. I could say response, right? I can do it like that. And then I could say const. I love it when real JavaScript developers show up and tell me that, because it's awesome having them here, because I don't know what the hell I'm doing half the time. .json, right? Will that work? And then I should be able to get rid of that. Oh, but then put a wait in front of it. You have to set it in another then. Fetch is not defined. Oh, right, yeah. I'm just gonna add. Do that. Oh, what am I doing? Oops. I'm just gonna set it back to the way it was. I guess that technically I don't need to use a wait here, right? I'm gonna keep it with it. I think you have to have it set up right. Oh, well, I'm just gonna do this anyways. It was working before. It might be maybe the async await are actually redundant at this point. Oops. Oops. That's all. So, all right, let's add a global statement here. So I'm just I'm adding this global thing for ESLint so it stops complaining that fetch is not defined, because it is defined. It's part of the it's a thing that exists. Right, like that. Okay, cool. So now I should be able to console.log data. This works right. So let's see. So if I just get my console open, away at the very top, hopefully I should see right there. So we got our data. So that's all the memes that we want. Now some of these we're not going to use, some of them we don't need, but okay, cool. So we can do that. So then what I'm going to actually do in here is I'm going to say if I just really hate this formatting right now. if success. So if it's success, I want to filter these memes. Const filtered memes. Right. I'm going to say data.memes, because if we look at the data object, it returns to us data, but then there's an object in there called, give me the stupid browser. Where is it? In here, there's an object or an array called memes. So we're gonna filter that, and I want to remove any memes that have more than 2 boxes, because I think that is just what I need to do. All right, and I'm gonna say meme dot box count equals 2. So that should get us only the memes that okay, there we go. So things like this one won't get added because it's got 3, 1, 2, and then there's supposed to be 1 down here as well. So the box count is equal to 2. That should give us a bunch of memes to display. And right. So we'll go back over here. Okay, so I have that, and then I want to keep these memes in memory, but I don't want to save them outside of this block. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use another hook called I'm going to use select, use state. I'm sorry, use state. Right. So this is just going to manage the state of this particular thing. Use state, and then I'm going to give the default value of an empty array, and then this is going to be stored images, and it's going to have stored images. If you're not familiar with this hook, what it does is it allows you to manage a piece of data, and then so when you call it, it returns to you an array. So this is sort of like array destructuring. The first item is the variable and whatever that value is, and then the second item is a function that allows you to update it. So what this does is this is going to initialize a variable called stored images with an array, an empty array, and then provide me a function that allows me to update that array by passing data to it. So if we're successful, we're going to filter the memes away to only have a couple boxes. I want to set the stored images to filtered memes, right? So now I have them available to me. And then the other thing that I actually want to do is, while I'm working in here, I don't want to be calling the API. Say I want to put a whole bunch of these in. I don't want to be hitting that API every single time. Every single time I add a new block. What I want to do is I'm going to store them. So I'm going to store them in my session storage.set item. And whatever, meme. What do I call it? I call it something. Meme images, right? And images. And then the thing I have to do is I'm going to stringify this. So JSON.stringify, and I'm going to pass it the filtered memes. And so this is just going to like save us some round trips to the server. I'm going to add this up in here. Session storage. So all this is saying is in this file, ESLint is going to like, it's, you know, I could add this to the ESLint in the larger project to add it as a global, but this is just going to stop it from yelling at me. Right, cool. So what this should do is this should load it, and this should set the storage, or the session storage in there. So let's jump back into here. I'm going to clear this out. I'm going to do a hard refresh. Should see that we got choose image for your meme, and then if I go into my application, into my session storage, I've got meme images, and I've got all of this stuff in there. So there's like 100 or something. There's a whole bunch, far too many to choose from. Cool. So now the other thing that I want to do is I want to make sure I don't want basically any of this stuff to happen if the data already exists, right? So what I want to say is in here, I'm going to say if session storage.get item meme images, right? Right. Then I'm going to basically set this set stored images. Oh, sorry, I should have done this a slightly different way. I'm going to turn this into a variable. I'm going to say const session images. Yeah, with 2 S's. It's going to be that, right? So that's going to say, so if there are session images, then I need to set the stored images to that, right? And then I'm just going to say else. Get rid of that, and then put a little thing in here. So basically, just to walk through this again, I'm going to try to get the stuff in session storage. Can't talk. If it's there, I'm going to set my state item here and move on. Otherwise, I'm going to make an API request, and then if that's successful, I'm going to filter it all out, set the stored images to my state object in my state variable in this component, and set it to here. Now, we should probably be doing something, some kind of error handling, but I'm going to fly by the seat of my pants and just assume that everything's always going to work forever with an external API, which is never a good idea. Cool. All right. So now let's see what we got. So, cool. So we have this. So I can't really show you that that's doing anything. The next part is, okay. So now let's jump down to here. So in my placeholder, the placeholder can actually accept children. So I'm going to do this. Right, so in here, I'm going to say if we don't have any stored images, right? Now we're back into one of these ternary statements again, right? What I want to do is I'm gonna output a div, and say loading, right? Okay. Otherwise, in div, I'm just gonna say ready or whatever. Ready, right? Now we could do some other funky things like this. Maybe we can mess with the label, do it that way. But so basically, what this is going to do is this will just say ready. This should just say ready. Yeah, ready. So I come in here and I delete this key. We should get a loading statement. What? Interesting. Okay. Did it just remove that? Because, yeah, it did. That's very strange. Is it loading that quickly? It shouldn't be. No way it's loading that quickly. I'm gonna get rid of this. So put in meme. It just says ready automatically. But the key is not there. Something's not right. It's not hitting. Oh. Wait. I think that's probably what it is. Oh, you know what? You're totally right. Where'd you see that? Get items? It is get item. Thanks. Good catch. Florida man. Thank you. I also noticed that I'm wondering if because I'm setting it as an array, it's defined, but it's not like the length is less, right? So let's see. That's still saying ready. That's ridiculous. Oh, that's exactly what I have to do. Glad one of us knows what he's doing. Nope. So I'm stringifying it here, right? Oh, yep. Yeah. Json.parse. Sorry. Good catch, folks. Glad one of us knows what they're doing. Or two of us. Not. And Stored images. No, what am I doing? Stored images dot length is what? Greater than 0? Is that what you're saying? And then we do that. There we go. Thank you. We got through it. It's still loading. It doesn't make any sense why that's not working. Image, stored images. I don't have any stored images. I want to see loading. Holy crap. You know when you go through this stuff and it's like stored images dot length is less than 1, then we're going to say loading, otherwise it's going to say ready. It's a basic JavaScript, right? What the hell? There we go. Got it. Okay. Ugh, logic, man, for the win. So basically, I wanted to make sure the length is basically more than 1. So storage images. There we go. Okay, so now we should be good. We should be good. We should be good. Okay, so now so then in the ready state, I don't actually want to show ready. What I want to do is I'm going to I'm going to say the class name equals, this is, what do I call this, image. So this is going to be select wrapper. Right, and then inside of this, I'm going to basically map through the memes. So I'm going to say stored images.map. This is going to be meme, and I'm going to like this, like this, like this, like, oh my god, come on. And then right, and I say const. So there's an ID, there's a URL, and there's a name. Come on, the name property. I'm going to use those, but I'm also going to use the other stuff. So, and I return a. I'm just going to snag this. I have this already. It's a button. So I'm going to return a button. And basically what I'm going to do here is return a button, and that's going to be it's going to contain an image, and then allow us to click it, and then we should see a big list of images to choose from here. Something like that. Cool. So this is ugly. And so I'm going to, but because this only exists in the editor side, we don't want to, I don't need to add any styles to my style.css in here. What I want to do is add it to my editor.css because this gets loaded only on the edit state. So I've actually got some pre-built stuff. I'm just going to drop it in. What I'm doing here is, this is the wrapper. I'm going to just do some flexbox stuff, and then set some image stuff just to kind of make it look somewhat pretty to this developer eye here. There we go. So we've got a button. We've just sort of spacing these out. So now we can kind of like scroll through and pick whatever image we want, right? So we've got way too many. If someone was paying me to do this as like a client, I probably want to do something where there was like a, more, we'd want to paginate this or whatever. But you can do all of that, no problem, inside of the placeholder. So we could create a really complicated component that manages just all of this stuff, but just for the sake of this, I'm going to do this. So now this should get us to a point where if we pick an image, let's pick this one, right? So that worked, but didn't work because I didn't update it. So now if we look back down here, we should be able to get, so we have the image. We have the image right here. So what I should be able to do is in where it's being displayed, I should be able to get my image stuff by just going like this. Image.url, right? And then I'm going to put an alt tag in here because that's what we should do. So image.name. Oops. Nope. Image.name. All right. So now if we save this, this should refresh with the right image. Oh, did I not save it? Interesting. Oh, man. Oh, I didn't. I don't think I updated it. Weird that it didn't prompt me. So click that. There we go. So update this. Now we've got the image. Great. And so we can, you know, do all this stuff. So essentially, this is kind of like done. Watching you live coding, clearing a lot of my concepts, booking, reading how to do things. Emphasis. Thank you, Ali. So am I saying is it Amjad? Ali Amjad. I hope I'm saying that correctly. Thank you so much for coming. I appreciate the comment. Yeah. Anytime, glad to have you. Cool. So what we want to do now is like, what if I don't like this meme? What if I don't like this image, right? We got to be able to pick another one, right? So, oh, that didn't, you know, but before we do that, let me just update the other side of this. And it should just be as simple as, I'm going to grab this. So on my save, I'm going to just replace this with some pre-built stuff. Oh, I've actually got all this in here. I'm going to just destructure that fun stuff out up here. Right, so we've got image, source. I'm just renaming some of these just to be a bit more verbose. So if I come back over here, refresh this is probably going to give me grief. It is. And then I refresh this, and now I've got my thing, my meme here. Cool. So that's basically done. Now, the thing that I want to do next is I want to be able to remove the image and pick a new one. So how do we do that? And then we're going to add some color and we're going to add some things, right? So there's a couple ways that we could do this. We could add something over here on the right-hand side that allows us to, you know, remove the image. But what if people want to be in full screen mode and they have this closed, right? So that's not really, just by looking at it like this, it's not very intuitive. Like we've fixed the issue, like, so this works really well because we know, oh, okay, well we have something that we have to do. So we'll pick this one. So now we can do all this and we're still good to go here, right? But we don't like that image. There's no tool, right? So let's add one. So we're gonna add a block toolbar item. We're gonna add something in the block toolbar here. I'm gonna put the top toolbar up here, which is what I like doing, because then I'm not chasing it. You know what? Change my mind. I'm gonna leave it right where it was. So we'll get rid of this one. We're gonna update this. So let's go back, and in our edit state, we want to add a means by which people can remove the image. So to do that, we need a component called, what is the component called? It's this one, toolbar button. So we're gonna grab toolbar. So we need a couple of things to make it work. So we need to add the block control slot fill. So if you've ever built blocks before and you've seen things like inspector controls and that stuff that kind of adds it into the side, this is very similar. So the way a slot fill works in Gutenberg is that we've got this, like, there's a slot that's rendered somewhere, and then there's a fill that you can add things. You can add things to the slot with this fill component. And so anywhere that the fill is rendered, its contents get moved from that location to wherever the slot appears. So that's why you can do stuff like this. That's why we could put inspector controls in our block and then have them get rendered over here in the right hand, like if over here in the right hand side, right? If that makes sense. So what we want to do, so this is where the toolbar is. The toolbar has nothing to do with our block, but we want to be able to render something inside of it. So we need to get the fill component that is connected to the slot that lives there. So we'll do that by going over to the documentation here. And so the first thing I'm going to do is grab my block controls component, and that's it's in the block editor here. So we're going to put that there, and then we're going to render it somewhere. Now, I don't want to render it if we don't have an image. So the place where we should render it is when we're actually working on it. So you can render this anywhere. I'm going to put it down here at the bottom. You can, I don't think it really matters. Some people like to keep the markup separate from sort of that other stuff, which is totally valid. Like putting this in here feels to me like, oh, I'm going to render some more markup. So that's not actually going to happen. The reason I was putting it there is because React requires you to have a single element that gets returned. So another way to do it would be to use this fragment placeholder, or if you want to be more verbose, you can go into element and you can import fragment and you could drop it in there and like that. So like this. So fragment is awesome because it used to be that if you wanted to have things grouped, sometimes you would just wrap it in a div, and that was a lot of React apps just had a ton of extra markup because you needed to have a single element get returned from a component. So fragment was born. That's my understanding of it anyways. I don't know if any of your Florida Coda Man or anyone has more insight into that, but that was my understanding, that it came out of a need to stop adding all this tons and tons and tons of markup. So anyways, so I'm just gonna say test. So what this should do is this should render, and it should render up in here, and it's gonna look ugly because it says test, but I do this and there we go. So shorthand for fragment. Yeah, the shorthand, I like the shorthand better. Sometimes, I don't know, I've worked on projects where people adamantly hate the shorthand and some people don't. Fragment's nice, because shorthand's nice because you don't have to import it, but the fragment is nice because I've seen VS Code lose its mind on the fragment, like on the shorthand, and not know how to handle it. I think I had to install like a add-on for it. They're both fine to use, nothing wrong with it. If you don't want to add an extra import statement, use the shorthand, or just move this inside your markup somewhere. So cool. So the next thing that we want is these two items. So there's toolbar group and there's toolbar button. So if we had multiple toolbars items that we wanted to add, we could use the toolbar group. I don't think I'm going to use it here because we're just adding one item. It's optional. You don't need it, but it's there if you do. So inside my block control, I'm going to render the toolbar button. I'm just going to look at my notes here again for a quick second. Where did I put this stupid thing? You know what? I did actually use the toolbar group, so I might just leave it in there. There we go. So I'm gonna save that. Scroll down to the bottom. I'm gonna put my toolbar group in here. Oops. And then toolbar button. All right. And what are the props the toolbar button takes? Let's take a look here. So we have an icon, a label, and an on click. So I found a label that I like, an icon that I like. So I'm just going to use there's an icon. I'm going to use, I think it's remove. Yep, it's remove. All right, and then the label is going to be, let me translate it. It's going to be remove. Move meme image. Let's just do it that way, and then we'll put our thing in there. And then what we need to do. So now there's an on click. So this is the magic part here, right? So all we need to say here is we need to set the attribute of image to false. It's weird because basically we want to have no image there, so we set it to false. That's going to kind of force it to be like, that's going to force our logic up top. So now let's go back in here and we'll refresh this and we'll see what we got here. So now we've got this button here. It says remove meme image, and if I click it, boom, now I get my images back. That one didn't load. Yeah, so now I can pick another one. I can I can pick this one. There we go. And then I, update and then refresh, and it works. Great. So now we have our tool. Now, if we're in full screen, we can do everything that we want to do right inside our block without having to ever open that sidebar, which I think is nice. I think it's very nice because some people work like this. I've started working more and more like this. The more content that I'm writing a lot more content in this role that I'm in now, and I find this is better for me personally. I mean, it's whatever whatever people want to do, but yeah. So next thing is we clearly have a bit of an issue with color, because that might work here. Giggles. These work well, but even here's a little bit hard, right? So let's opt this block into using colors. So we can do that without really writing much code. Actually, what we can do is go into block.json and we can go into the theme supports option down here, and I'm going to say color, not with a leading thing. And what I want is I want to use the text color, and I set that to true. So just by doing that, now you will need the sidebar open for this. You should be able to, I'm gonna update that. You should be able to refresh this, select the block, and now we've got a color option down here. So now we can pick our color of our text, which is being overridden by my CSS. Stand by. Style. So we're gonna get rid of that, right? So I forgot I added that in. So if I refresh this now, so this will be whatever the theme default is. And so we can come in here, we can say we want it to be white, we want it to be whatever color that is, whatever color this is, this color, that color, this color, whatever. Right, and these are the theme. These are defined by the theme. So if you were to change themes, which I can do real quick, I can come into here, maybe I'll activate this theme. I should be able to refresh this. And now colors are different. So now we have a different set of colors based on the theme. So this is really nice because then when you update this, you should be able, so now, oh, this is a font thing there, which is cool. It's totally fine. That's weird that, oh, because it's the same color as the background. Yeah, anyway, so there's, that's really handy. I'm just gonna switch back to the theme that I always use, which is 2021. Oops. There we go. So yeah, so we have those colors. But what if we also wanted to manage the fonts? What if we wanted to manage like the size of the fonts, for example? Well, actually, sorry. We don't want this background color because it's not doing it. We don't really want to set that, right? Because the background is meant to be our image. So we got to turn that off. So you have to explicitly come in here and say background is false. And then that should go away. And it'll also remove, if you notice, if you pick colors that are very hard to read, you get this notification down here, which we've seen before. I think we messed with that in our last stream, like we added that ourselves. But this is we don't need this because it's not true to form what the background is, right? So by turning that off, it's a long rambly way of saying by going in there and turning that off. Oh, you know what? I need to delete this because I think when you enable some things, it will. That's strange. Why am I getting that? Maybe I need to turn off some other things. Is it gradients? False. Turn gradients off too. So. Yeah, reload. Color. Clear. Update. Strange. Why? I don't know why we're getting that. Is it because background's been set somewhere on this block? Okay, update this. Theme generator. Put this one in. Color is back. Is thing. Still getting that, eh? Strange. Okay. Well, I lied to you then. That's odd that it's not that's still there, but I guess it's kind of right in this case. Interesting. Okay, well, I don't really know if did I do anything else. Let's check my notes again. I don't think I did anything else that would turn that off. It's kind of annoying. Yeah, cool. So the other thing, all right, so we'll keep that in place. The other thing that we can probably mess with is fonts. We can do some font size in there. So if we wanted to mess with that, sorry, I should show you that better. The background is considered transparent. I'm not sure what's going on. I think because the theme supports background colors, whatever the default is what that's being checked against. But because we're not using the background property, it's checking against the theme background, if that makes sense. So we're gonna just say font. We're gonna set supports.font size to true, and that should give us some font controls in here. And there we go. So now we can say we want it to be normal, large. We can go extra large. We can go gigantic. Holy crap, large, whatever. Right. So we can mess with this stuff too. So this is getting us a ton more control here. I'm gonna change my image back to this one because I think this guy's hysterical. And we're gonna say this is line 1 and this is line 2, so on and so forth. So now I think it should just work. It does. So there we go. So that's pretty much it. Actually, I don't think there's anything else I really wanted to show. Is there anything that I've missed? Is there anything in here that I've that you'd want? Moving the image, doing that stuff. When we start working with theme.json and start working with block-based themes, these controls get a lot cooler. There's a lot more things that you can actually opt into. There's a lot more things that you can opt into. Actually, let's just see. You know what? I'm gonna just try something here. I have this TT1. Oh, okay. Sure. Okay. So I am going to install the Gutenberg plugin, which I don't think I have here. So I'm gonna add this. So if you haven't had a chance, I highly recommend you start poking around with full site editing and theme.json, and all of the really cool things that you can do with it. So you can download the plugin. I think it's 12.1 just got released. I think. This is like Gutenberg. Yeah, 12.1 just got released, I think, this week, maybe yesterday. And then go and get a theme. There's a bunch of block first themes. There's one called Block Base that is that just came out that is pretty cool. TT1 Blocks is one that's been around a little bit. So now you've got the editor stuff comes out. You have now available to you all these cool little editor things, and then we have this this block.json styles that we can mess around with. But I wonder if that's going to actually change anything in here. Let's look. Whoa! It broke my stuff. Why did it break? That's weird. What did it do? Cannot read properties of undefined. Interesting. Okay, let's go in here. And it just straight up broke. Why did it break? Save.js line 21. Oh, that's what did that. Okay, so that has nothing to do with what I just did. This is assuming that this is always going to be. This is always going to have data. It's always going to have an image, I should say. Which I guess in that state it didn't. So there's an edge case that needs to be addressed. So that's odd. Okay. So I can fix that real quick by just, right? I think, so this is going to set a default value. Is that right? Let's see, but I don't know what this is going to do. I think that might work, but Yeah, there we go. So what I did there, so image was false. So this is saying that like image, the default value of this is going to be an object. So anyways, that's really poor on my part. So I'm gonna put one of these on here and update this, and then let's see. Oh, typography is a little bit different now. What's in here? Oh, that's cool. That's super cool. Oh, and look, we have all of these things now. Text color. Okay. All right, so let's do some things. So what we can do, I believe, if we go into our block.json, we can start opting out of some things. I think, can we get into typography? Is typography actually supported here? Colors. Maybe we can't. I need to do a bit of digging, because what you can do in your theme.json is you can actually come in and say that, like, so this is using the theme colors, this is using the default palettes. There's a lot that you can do here. Excuse me. There's a lot that you can do with theme.json and blocks. So for example, like we've got this really cool, typography thing now, which looks a lot different. But if you wanted to say there's line height and all that, and there's drop cap and all that stuff. So I need to do a bit of digging. Pretty decent. Shows the split between V1 and V2. Yeah, it's pretty cool. I don't know right now, and now I want to know because this will be super neat. The integration between custom blocks and theme.json, like how does that stuff work? Because if you look at if we look at is it this one? I'm just gonna switch into another project. No, that's not it. I did some this one maybe. I did some. Yeah. So if you look, so this is the theme.json that I kind of messed with. I was doing some. This is a bit old now. I was doing some tests on what can be supported where. So like if you look at for example, like the typography stuff. So like we were looking at doing font size, right? So that is now encompassed with typography, where we can do text transform, letter spacing, font weight. So if our blocks can get access to these things, that is super hot. Like super fire, man. That is so cool. There's border, there's color. You can do all kinds of really cool things. You can define your own font families. So what this is doing, and this is a bit beyond what we're talking about, but I'm kind of done now, so we can do it. So you can set spacing, like you can set global settings for your themes. So for example, if we wanted to have, border controls for radius, color, style, and width for everything, we would get that by setting them all to true. Or you can set values like, whatever, 5 pixel, whatever, 5xp, 5 pixel. You can do that. You can set, you can set color palettes. So if we wanted to have custom color palettes, you can do it at the sort of theme level, but you can also do it in a per block level. So if you wanted to come down, say whatever, our image block, we wanted to make sure that we could put a border on it that was a specific color that only this block had. That's possible. So what I would really want to do, and I'm gonna dive into that, is figure out how custom blocks can opt into these things. And I don't know if there's a bridge there yet, but I'll figure that out. But anyways, that's super exciting stuff. I'm not gonna save any of that stuff. So great. So this is pretty much wrapped up. Pretty much wrapped up at this point. Oh, awesome. I'm really glad they're helpful. And like I said, and I don't know if I said this before, but on that Twitch repo, I'll link it again. On my repo where I store the code for all this, there is a section for. We'll just go and open an issue, and you can tag it with. You can give it the label of stream topic. or whatever I said. I can't remember. And so if there's anything in there that you really want to see, like if you're running into an issue with something, throw an issue in the repo, and I'd be happy to, if I can solve it for you just in the issue, cool. If not, if it's a bigger thing, we can do a stream about it. But yeah, anyways. Cool. Well, I think that's about it. Unless there's anything else that anyone else wanted to talk about or see, I'd be happy to go through stuff with y'all. What are we doing here? I'm just gonna go back to my regular theme and get out of there, and there we go. It'd be cool to render canvas in the front end so users can save it as a complete image. That would be very cool. That would be very cool. That would be very, very cool, actually. Is there a library that you use for that, or just write it all out manually? I used a library that's quite old now, very old, but it was well, what was it called? It's written by Grant Skinner, I think. JS library. Is it Grant Skinner? Create JS. That's what it was. I don't even know if it's really widely supported anymore, but I used to use a lot of Flash, a ton of Flash back in the day, before WordPress. And Grant Skinner was really big in that community. Did a lot of really, really cool things. And he had a tween library and some animation stuff that I used a lot. I don't know, Green Socks, I think that might be a thing. Anyways, I heard about this because this is like written for people who are kind of, this is just after the death of Flash in the browser. And so I use this, and it's really cool. Honestly, I have no idea if it's been actively supported. Looks like it probably has, but maybe not. But anyways, that would be an interesting addition to this, to be able to have it rendered as a canvas and saved. That'd be cool. Very, very cool. All right, well, I think I'm going to call it. Unless there's anything else that anyone wants to talk about. If so, hit me up on Twitter at Ryan Welcher in most places, or leave a comment on the YouTube channel. This video is live, so it'll be up in a moment. And yeah, anyways, thanks for coming. Appreciate you all. Have a good one.